So this is just going to be a short video. I got some trash in my pickup tomorrow. Sorry the screen's kind of shaky. Let me change this. There we go. It's less shaky. So I threw this together. I've been wanting to do something like this. I already have the Jericho mount for my laser, and I believe it'll fit my right ZK2. I'm not really sure. But so what I did, instead of putting it on here, I really wanted to put a big trash can on here because I don't know how much stuff I'm going to have to haul at once. So I've got a bunch of these things, and they're tie downs for a trailer or whatever, and they're pretty cheap. They're like $3 a piece, and I've got a whole box of them. So I took 2 of them and very carefully figured out where I wanted to put this and welded them on to the frame on both sides. And I figured that's kind of a nice thing because if I make like a platform right here, I can quickly attach it to the mower and secure it pretty easily. So that seemed like kind of an okay spot. Plus, if I wanted to, chain the mower down or something so it's not going to be sliding all over the trailer, that's not a bad spot. I still want to put some up here on these 2 supports up here, but that's fine for right now. But the nice thing is, like, I've got a brute can. These things are really, really industrial strength. And took 2 ratchet straps, since I have a whole box of them, because I keep finding these things on the side of the road, or maybe I just find them when I'm mowing somewhere. I just hang on to them. So these, I haven't really decided. I might cut these off so they're, purposely designed to fit this application, but at the same time, I don't like doing that because I feel like for whatever reason, you always need a ratchet strap for some weird emergency situation, or you just need something. And I mean, if they're right here and you can universally use them for whatever, it's a good deal. But anyway, here's some more kind of welds with the Cyclone 140 Everlast MIG welder I've got. I'm telling you, he really makes some clean welds. So, I put the boards on there because I don't want to bend that heat shield, or I don't want to bend the shield just for aesthetics. Just painted them black for right now so they don't flash rust. I'm going to hit it with some Massey Ferguson red. That's actually what that is. This has not been painted, but if you're kind of curious what matches Snapper Pro, I don't know that Ferris may be a different color, but Snapper Pro, for whatever reason, Massey Ferguson red is like almost spot on, the exact same paint color. You really can't tell the difference. Here's kind of a comparison, because that's something I just hit it real quick just to kind of pretty it up. Actually, I even did that, and that's the factory finish. So, I mean, from a distance, you really can't tell, in my opinion, what I've painted, what I can't. So it's that close, just to clean it up and make it a little bit prettier. But so this is, I mean, it's shaking the whole walk behind, so it's on there. And these handles, the other nice thing is you can take this off real quick and dump it, strap it back on. I believe it's a 55-gallon. Maybe it's a 50-gallon, I forget exactly. But the other kind of nice thing about it, aside from being a trash can, is if I wanted to haul some mulch, I could really just dump all the mulch in here and drive it wherever I gotta go. Or I could even just throw the bags in here and drive them up a hill or whatever. And so it's got a couple of universal things. There's the Jericho transporter, which attaches to the front. And I don't know if it would work on this model because it has these 2 deck height adjustments on each side, but it's basically a bin that sits right here, and it's hinged so that you can dump it. So I definitely want to get that, but that's like almost $300 with shipping. So this, I threw it together in about 30 minutes. Trash can, I really haven't had a use for it since I've come across it. I've used it a few times, but not lately. So this seems like a good use for it. And yeah. So just kind of a cheap solution. You could probably do it with the ZK2. I'd have to move my trimmer mount. Then you've got that space up there that you could probably put a trash can, but muffler's right there. I don't know if I like that because it comes out on both sides. This one shoots off to the side, so really you've got a lot of room up here where you're not really doing anything. So walk behinds are pretty handy for that kind of stuff. If you've ever seen videos, guys using these things, it's really not that uncommon to come across somebody doing something during the summer where they've got bags and bags of mulch. I mean, like, they'll have like 2-3 yards packed on these things, hanging over the engines and stuff. I never really do it that much because, well, for one, I don't really do that much mulch, but two, um, these things are designed to haul themselves around. And the hydraulic motors that they put on there are a little bit beefier than they really need to be for these things. But there's a way to look it up, and depending on what type of transaxles these have, and these have actually got one of the bigger ones for most walk behinds, which is kind of strange. But I think 3200s, they're spec'd out to be like, I don't know, probably 700 or 800 pounds of torque on both sides. So together, they can support roughly like 1,600 pounds. And the mower already weighs about 800-ish. You're going to get on it and be pulled around. So let's just say it's going to be able to support at least 1,000 pounds plus a couple hundred more. So you can throw a couple bags on here. But the other thing is that you run into is when you start throwing these bags and all this weight on top of the mower, that weight is out front. It's on the front of the mower. It's not on the back where the drive wheels are, all kind of stuff. So what it does, and this is really more of a springtime thing than it is in the summer, but what it does is it weights down those front tires so much that when you go to turn, since they're just support wheels, they don't really have any, steering ability or braking or drive or anything like that. It's not a four-wheel drive machine. Is that when you go to steer and turn, it'll dig into the grass or dig into the soil, and it makes it very hard to turn, or it'll leave a rut. Whereas summer or fall time, it doesn't really do that because everything is kind of dry. So if you try to maneuver with a bunch of weight on there, it just it works. So this is also great if you're going to be moving stuff in pavement, like you could even move concrete blocks or, stuff like that. I wouldn't put a bunch on there, but like I said, you can probably put 200-300 pounds on here, and it's really not going to phase this thing. But anyway, that's just kind of an idea for some of you guys out there that maybe have these, and maybe it's just something you haven't thought about doing. They also have trimmer racks available for these things, blowers, stuff like that. I mean, they're slow machines, because, I'm guessing it's just because they design it that way because you're on the back of it. So obviously they don't want this thing going 12, 13 miles an hour and you running behind it. But and very much like the ZK, since you're standing up, you have a lot of options with this thing. You can throw a blower on your back and drive around. You can't really use the blower and drive since you have to use your hands to drive, but you can carry something on your back, a sprayer maybe. There's room all over this thing to put attachments. So, you really could haul a chainsaw around. If you're at your house, you could do a lot of stuff with these things. So I'm still pretty pro standers and pro walk behinds, more standers than I am walk behinds, but walk behinds definitely have a place. And I seem to always find a use for one or find a need for one, regardless of buying standers. So, yeah, if you ever come across one of these things, buy it. And also, my second opinion, do not buy a gear drive or a belt drive walk behind mower. And you're going to quickly figure out why you're going to have to pay big bucks for a hydro mower like this one is. Say you're going downhill and you have to shift gears because you have to back up. Well, you can't just, squeeze back on the levers and then immediately come back. You're going to have to shift it in. Here, let me zoom. This is where the gear shift would normally be, down here. So you're going to have to use your foot, and you're going to have to kick it in reverse, and then you're going to have to do whatever you got to do up here, and then release, let it back up, and then once you get where you need to, you're going to have to put it in neutral again, then you're going to have to kick this thing around. It's just, I've had 3 of them so far, and every one that I've had, I've loved for a short period. And as soon as that period's over, I hate them. They're not very maneuverable. I'm just saying, if you're doing this and you're doing it, professionally as a contractor or whatever, just spend the money and get a hydro walk behind. Maybe if you're just starting out and you want to get a gear drive because you don't have any money, that's totally understandable. I get that. But as soon as you can, get a hydro. They also have so much more power to drive themselves up hills, drive you around. If you get into a hairy situation, it's hydraulic power. You can't stop hydraulic power. So that's just kind of my 2 cents on that. But anyway, yeah, now we're getting back to where I was before. If you got to walk behind or whatever, it's really endless what you can put on the front of these. As long as You have either a heat shield for the muffler to point the exhaust gases out another way. You know, maybe take a piece of sheet metal, steel, whatever, put it up in front of the engine, just bolt it up. Or, you know, maybe you're lucky like me where it shoots out the side. You virtually have at least 3 feet in front of you of just landscaping space. You can do whatever you want. I suppose if you want to, you could put a tree on this thing. Bonsai tree. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. I'm always going to have a love for walk behinds. So, all right. Well, that's all I got for you guys. So appreciate you watching. You know, maybe this will help you out. Thanks.